This is the second application you need to create, guys. Change your buttons to up, down, left, right, rename them, or create a new application with those buttons, and make sure that each of the buttons works like this. This is what we call relative movement. I want you to see the video again, I'm going to play it again, and make sure that you understand what you need to do. Think about on it for some seconds. Then I will do some questions, I will give you some tips, and at the end I'll give you the solution for one of the buttons. You may skip all of that and you may proceed by your own. One important thing to take into consideration is position. In this case, position of any object inside the app inverter, or at least for the image sprite, sorry for that, we have X position, we have Y position, and we also have Z position, but we won't be using that at this point. So if you want to move at some or at any given point an image, you will need to change its X position and you need to change its Y position, as we have done it in the first exercise. Now, when we're talking about relative position, make sure that you understand that it's relative to its original position. So that means, or that implies that there will be mathematical operation, either an addition or a subtraction. Now I'll give you some time to think about the solution. Give it a try and pause the video. In some seconds, I will move forward to give you a written hint. I'll give you another pause to think, and then I'll move to giving you the solution for one button. Happy coding! Now I will proceed to give you tip number 1. So tip number 1 is quite simple. You just need to think. We're doing relative movement. So what it is relative. And the answer is simple. What are you moving? So if you think about it, what you're trying to move is an image sprite. So I'll give you a clue. What you want to do is to change the image sprite position. And in order to do that, well, it's quite simple. You need to set the image sprite's position in X or Y to its current position plus an amount. Now, of course, it could be plus or minus depending if you want to move it to the right or to the left, and it may change X or Y depending if you want to do vertical or horizontal movement. So now it's time again to think and to try. Most of you should be able to do the whole activity at this point. Nonetheless, I'll give you in the next slide, in the next seconds, the last tip, which will be the code for button 1. So if you struggle, make sure you play the video again. So here I am with the information about the code. So as I've told you before, we're doing relative movement relative to the image sprite Y position. The first button is up, so we're doing vertical movement. That means Y. And as I've told you, we will have an arithmetical operation, either a subtraction or an addition. In this case, to move up, you need to use a subtraction. Okay, that's how computers work. This corner is 0, 0, and the vertical axis is positive downwards. That is different from maths. Okay, make sure you remember that. And we're changing its position to a new position, its current position and an amount. In this case, text 10 pixels. So that's about it. With that information, you should be able to code the last 3 buttons. Make sure that you save the project because I will be checking it next class.